Hello, everybody. You are now listening to Season 2, Episode 2 of Clubfitting Chronicles podcast. Here in person, I'm joined with Gene. How you doing, Gene?
Doing well, doing well.
So today we're going to be talking about a few things about the putter, putting, and everything that revolves around the putter. We got grips, we got long putters, we got all different shapes and sizes, colors, alignment, all the preferences that everybody likes to talk about. And we also have a special video portion with a few guest appearances from a few of my teammates. And we all got together at a golf course and just kind of picked each other's brains and talked a little bit about putters. And Gene has got some good insights on them, and hopefully you guys can learn more about it. Gene, would you like to add on?
Too bad you weren't there, because I brought my Gene Saracen putter, and I brought my original Callaway hickory shaft putter, and you could have tried it if you were there, but you weren't there, so you didn't get to try it.
Yeah, the Gene Saracen putter was really interesting. The different putter technology back then were meant for completely different strokes. And, the modern game is just completely different, obviously, than it was back then. So when I looked at that thing, it looked like a butter knife. It looked like I could get a piece of toast and spread my butter on it. And the other thing was, the hickory shaft, obviously, the wood shaft. That was a complete different feeling. And it was all original.
Yep.
And for some of our viewers who that name sounds unfamiliar, look him up.
Yep.
He's
one of the 5 guys to win the Grand Slam of golf.
And as many of you know, that list of names, very prestigious.
Yep.
One of the more uncommon known golfer on there is Tiger Woods. He's okay.
Who's he?
Yeah, exactly. But with that being said, there was a lot of cool differences in technology that was cool to look at and putt with. Different feel. The milling on it was completely different too. You look at a milled putter nowadays and you tell me, hey, that putter and this putter are both milled.
Yeah, that putter wasn't milled. It was punched.
Yeah. I mean, it was very, very intricate design with the milling. It was very fascinating and interesting. But the first thing we're going to talk about is alignment, and where your eye line is a big thing in putting. And I remember figuring it out. One day I was talking with one of my coaches, and he's like, well, which way do you see this putt breaking? I said, well, I see it breaking this way. And he looks at me and he goes, are you crazy? I said, no, that's what I see. And he said, here, do this. So it was actually a left to right putt, but I was seeing it break right to left. Now, how does that happen? Well, a lot of tendencies of myself, I actually tend to get a little bit over the golf ball. So you have the golf ball, and you're over the top of the golf ball.
Beyond the golf ball.
And that tends for right-hand golfers to see a different angle of the putt. So when he told me to step back, have my eyes more inside of the golf ball, I actually started to see what he was seeing. And I said, wow, that's crazy. And of course, on top of other things too, shoulders and other pieces of alignment that fit into that puzzle, obviously. But there was a few things that I figured out, when we were putting, during the summer, as far as eye line goes. I don't know if you want to add more about that, but.
Well, and the big thing, if you're looking for a putter, first thing you want to look at, can I address the putter, hold the putter, and get my eyes close to over the ball or slightly to the inside? A good little test is, as you're standing over the ball, you got a ball on the ground, hold the ball up to the bridge of your nose and drop it. If the ball bounces beyond to the outside of the ball, you're too close.
Right.
If the ball bounces, 6-8 inches to the inside, you're too far away.
Yeah.
So the big thing is getting yourself in position with the putter you're looking at, because the average golfer, and they've done a lot of different studies of what the average golfer needs, and the average golfer tends to putt better with a 33.5 to 34-inch putter. The average putter in the store is 35 inches. Sometimes you'll find 34.5, and every once in a while you'll find a 34-inch putter.
Yeah.
But if you're vertically challenged like I am, 5'10", you got a 35-inch putter. I can't get any, putters sitting on the ground like this.
Right.
I can't get close enough.
Right.
So,
yeah, in the video you guys will see in a little bit, one of our guests, Cole, one of his questions that he was asking Gene is this length right for me? And we'll also talk about, longer putters and whatnot and arm locks and all that good stuff. But pretty much the length of his putter was 34 inches, and he was struggling on the greens, and he was questioning whether or not it was the length of the putter. And Gene, what did you talk to Cole about as far as
I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure I was mentioning that he's pretty much in a good position.
Right.
What will also happen, though, depending on the putter you have, a 34-inch putter is not going to tend to have as much head weight as a 35-inch putter. It's going to be about six swing weight points lighter, unless they've created a different head. And I'm trying to remember what he had on his putter head, what putter head he was using, but that is one of the things you have to understand about, yes, okay, I like the length, but then, and we'll get into this, can I hit the putt?
Right. And another thing, a lot of teachers, short game coaches like to talk about when putting, when you grip it conventionally. I know there's people that like left hand low. We're going to talk about conventional grip. They like the meaty part of your hand to just barely hang off the top of the club and or the butt of the putter, I should say. And that's also another way you could kind of judge it, because a putter length for a 6'5" man is going to be different than a Cole who's 5'10", 5'9", and it really is just getting down to looking where the part of your hand is hanging off of the grip, and if you're having to hunch over and one of my other buddies, Martin, he's 6'7", 6'8". He can't walk into a Dick's Sporting Goods and grab a 35-inch putter if he tried, and
if he was on his knees, he could probably.
Of course, but there's guys, on tour who have you look at them and they're very hunched over, or they're very upright. There's a whole bunch of different types of putting styles, but you also got to think about the putter itself, and lofts, lies can be completely different. That's a huge factor in it. People don't understand. For arm lock putters, people say, oh, I can just grab my putter at home right now and put a long grip on it, make an arm lock. Wrong. You have to change the loft, the lie, everything. And, that's one of the factors you got to factor in when you're paying attention to that.
And real quickly, you don't want to have them bend this necessarily to make it fit you if it's going to be more than a quarter of a degree, because you're also changing the angle that this is going to enter the head. And if you get it beyond the center, it's going to cause the putter to do something else than the way it was designed.
Right.
The other thing that is really hard, it's really hard to bend these precisely unless you go to a place that has a really good putter bending machine and a really good guy doing the bending. Sure. So the second thing we wanted to talk about, and you'll see this in the video, color. I used to have a series of putters. One putter was red with a white line. One putter was black with a white line. One putter was like a grayish silver with a white line. Exactly the same. Everything else the same. Give one putter to one person, he'd make everything. Give him a different color, couldn't make anything. Couldn't see the line. So one of the things you want to do is when you're looking at colors of putters, or, traditionally you'll see black. You might see some reds. You might see some blues. I worked on Stacy Lewis's putter once. It was a blue putter. The thing you want to look at is have somebody else standing behind you, somebody you trust, not the guy at the store who's going to make money off of you. Somebody stand behind you. Can you aim it? Okay. Because it's amazing how the color can either help you or keep you from being able to aim that putter. And most people never think of putters as with color and how that can differ. I have a matte black type finish on my putter because I'm in Arizona. I don't want the glare.
Right.
It's easy for me to line that putter up.
Mm-hmm.
I have a silver putter. I can line that putter up, but it has a different kind of alignment aids. And I used it only for like 35 years. So it's pretty easy still for me to
Sure.
line that putter up. But the color is really important. The other thing that's important with that, and Josh was telling me he went back to an old putter the other day.
Yeah.
The alignment lines.
Yeah.
Sometimes the more lines, the harder it is to align.
Yeah.
Sometimes the less lines, the harder it is to align. It depends on the golfer. Again, when you look at a putter like this, and I'll tip it this way, I have a very small alignment line.
Yeah.
I don't like the line on the top.
Yeah.
I like it on the backside.
Yeah.
When it's on the top, that just becomes too much.
Right.
Even though the line is very short, it's too much for my eyes to look at.
And nothing against the triple track here.
Right.
I will say this: triple track golf balls, I do like. More lines on a golf ball for me personally. I like to have, multiple lines, like a triple track golf ball. I really like when those first came out. Those are really cool. But the triple track Odyssey putters, and you talk about color scheme. They're red, white, and blue.
Right.
Sometimes that's very hard on people's eyes.
Yep.
And they're just focused on the line rather than the actual putt. And that could also cause some inconsistency as far as striking the ball. I know you talk about top line on a putter.
Yep.
I had my Cleveland Elevado mid mallet, and I love that putter. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But it has a top line on there, and I just recently switched back to my old Ping Anser. It's the 2021 Ping Anser. It's black and red. Now, the last two putters that I have really enjoyed, that I've putted well with, that I've stuck with. I'm not a big believer in you could obviously test things out and try as much as you want, but I try and stick with something and work on it and try to get better with that. And obviously, if it's not working after a period of time, then, I'll put the other putter in the closet and, bring out the old one. But they are both matte black and they've both got the same kind of alignment aid. And when we were talking about preferences and what people like to see, it made complete sense to me, because I would not buy a metallic silver golf putter. I just wouldn't. Same with red. I have a red Jason Day TaylorMade Spider. I love the spiders. I had a silver Spider, the one that I used in high school, and that was my gamer for a long time. And ever since I got the Ping black putter, I started making more putts with it. Put that in the bag. Then I got my second black putter, and then now I was looking at a third black putter, and I was just kind of like, maybe I like black putters. Maybe that's saying something. And that is a big deal. And now we're going to talk about grips. I mean, with grips are huge too.
So one of the things you'll find in the video, I have one club that I have a grip on where the flat part is to the back. So my right hand is flat against it. And that helps me to feel pushing the putter down the line. But with that, and we were just talking about this, whatever my feel need is, I need to make sure that putter is doing what it needs to do as far as the grip feel. Like I'm currently using a Super Stroke pistol 2.0, it's a 2.0, and it's about that much too wide.
Right.
I can feel my hands just a little bit more separated than I'd like them to be.
Right.
So I'm going to go out to the store and I'm going to stick all the different putter grips into my hands. And I can always make a smaller one bigger, but I can't make a bigger one smaller.
Right.
And finding that, what do I want it to feel like? Josh was talking about how he hates the texture of a Super Stroke. It's too soft.
Yeah.
It's too spongy. He doesn't like that feel. He likes the tackiness of rubber. For many, many, many years, I used a very tacky rubber grip. I like that feel. I like, conventional wisdom says when if you're flipping, if your right hand, helps the putter a little bit, you're doing one of those, a bigger grip will help stop that. Well, for me, a bigger grip just helps me to do that better.
Right.
And so again, don't go with what conventional wisdom says, go what you find works for you.
And this is going to go back to trying out things. I tried out the Ricky Fowler putter, which Cole mentioned it in the video. He had the Jailbird with the long, the Super Stroke, the 17.5-inch grip. And of course, that was trendy. It was a rave. Everybody's like, oh, if Ricky Fowler won.
Ricky shows up with it.
Exactly, and wins.
And what's his name?
Keegan Bradley the next week.
Yeah.
And they both win, right? And that was the rave. And of course, I tried it because I also read, bigger grips can help take your hands out of it. Yes, while that may be true, now you're focusing on other things. Yeah, your hands are out of it, but now you got to think about the club head and what it's doing, and you're factoring all these other things. I put that on my Cleveland putter, which I had a ping pistol grip on it, and that's another preference of mine. I love the ping pistol grips. That's what I like. Scotty Cameron pistol grips too, but I don't have a Scotty Cameron, so I have the ping pistol. But regardless, I tried that. I didn't make anything. Lag putts were pretty good, but anything within 10 feet, I was, turning the club over and I was, pulling all my putts left, and it just wasn't efficient, and didn't feel it. I couldn't feel it. And we talk about counterbalance too. We try to add weight in the head to kind of have more head feel, but putting that grip on, it's pretty heavy, so it counterbalanced it ultimately, and I just had no feel. And I'm a very like I said,
feel is important.
Feel is important for me. I love feeling the weight in the head, and we just made the putter super heavy. And for greens out here where they're super slow, it is what it is. But whenever I would go to somewhere, that greens are somewhat faster, I had no feel. I have no judgment of speed. And even on the slower greens where you would think statistically it would help me, no, I actually missed more putts, went back to my ping, started making more putts. Talking about that, types of grips, right? And that longer grip, it hurt me more than anything else.
Yeah. Again, it becomes a preference. The last thing I want to be thinking about when I'm getting ready to hit the putt to win the tournament championship is my hands feel different.
Right.
I don't like the way this feels. Yeah. I have to, I sit there fidgeting with my hands, and I was playing today, and I think I held the record for the most putts missed inside of 1/8 of an inch of the hole. I would stand there and I would just start fidgeting with my hands, because my hands are a little bit too wide apart right now with that putter grip. I'd slide down and my hands didn't get close enough.
Right.
So, one of the things with the putter grip, and again, I didn't pick the right ball. I got my Charlie the Tuna ball. If you're trying out a putter in a store, set up the logo or the if it's a Titleist or a Callaway ball with stripes and stuff, set the ball up pointing at a direction, whether it's at the hole or not. Can you get that ball to roll so that the lettering comes up every time?
Right.
You don't want to see it going back and forth, because now you're not hitting the putt square. So one of the things you want to see is, besides can I align it, can I get it back to square?
Right.
And again, that's part of that is the grip.
Yeah.
If the grip is too big, too small, that can become an issue also.
Very underrated as well, as far as when it comes to putting. Everybody believes you have to have a perfect stroke. No. Now, there's no such thing as perfect, for one. And two, point of contact. And a lot of people misunderstand this, but you could have the most wonky stroke there is, as long as you return it to square, depending on what the path is relative to striking the ball. You can make putts. You can make putts 100%. But everybody tries to be so technical with it. Right. And I think, talking about the big grip, I was getting way too technical.
Yep.
I was like, okay,
I'm doing the same thing.
where the button of the club is pointing just left of my belt buckle. I got to make sure that I feel this in my shoulder blades.
Where's my weight in my feet?
Exactly. And, you know, where's the club at? I can't feel it. Oh, wait, it's, you know, it's not existent because I have this heavy grip on there. And it's, you know, I was just talking about negative reinforcement. And now that brings into the mental side of it too, which we've talked before. Preference and mental, you know, go hand in hand. If you don't like something, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, it just becomes an excuse.
Exactly. So it's, you know, talk about negative reinforcement. If I were to go out on the golf course, by the way, adrenaline is a real thing in golf.
Oh yeah.
Winning a tournament, whether it's winning a tournament.
Should have been in the National Putting Championships with me.
I can only imagine.
First putt.
I can only imagine, you know, and when you get so much adrenaline in you, you know, your strength is through the roof and feel is non-existent. As much as you want to get it, you're not going to have it. And, you know, I haven't played much tournament golf, but I have the experience, and I've played in, you know, a handful, dozen so tournaments. And, you know, I know there's been many putts where I stand over it and I have no clue where the hell this ball is going to go. And when you have something technical and you're thinking about something else, you know, that's just a double negative. Yep. And you have all these thoughts running through your head. You're worried about missing the putt more than you are making it. And that is where everything can go wrong.
Yep. The last thought has to be, and this is going in.
Right.
So another thing to do, because one of the things that's happened over the years is putter heads have gotten heavy.
Yes.
Okay. And now some putters have weights that I can adjust the weight, make them heavier or a little bit lighter. Unfortunately, if it's a Scotty Cameron, those weights are way too expensive, along with the tool that you need in order to take the weights out. Sure. But one of the things to bring with you when you go, carriage bolts.
Yeah.
Okay. And what you do, put it under your top hand. And again, all you're feeling for is, does the head weight feel appropriate? By appropriate, the way it'll play out is when you bring the putter back, if it kind of does one of those, it looks like you're going to start a figure 8 move here.
Yeah.
It's probably because it takes too much energy to pull that thing back.
Yeah.
And because of that, you're not able to do it smoothly.
Yeah.
That's where adding, you know, a couple carriage bolts into your hand. Does that help? That would be counterbalancing.
Right.
You can go in and say, I need this counterbalance. I need 2 of these, and they can weigh those and know how much weight that is. But back in the olden days, I have a putter that Josh fell in love with when we were putting.
Yeah.
Got it in 1975. Its swing weight's out at A3.
Yeah.
It is extremely light. It's extremely easy to get the things back and forth online.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. The putter that I'm currently using is D6.
Right.
Totally different. I have to be careful with it. Now, my A3 putter I grew up on really fast greens. It was wonderful on fast greens. Get out here in, let's see, early November, the grass
solid
on the green.
6.5.
Yeah, there might be running at a 7.
Yeah.
The grass is about a 3/4 of an inch long. You can see it part as you're hitting your putt.
Yeah.
I bring it back shoulder high for a 25-footer. It's so light.
He's not joking either. I mean,
it's so light that I can't use that thing.
Yeah.
And what, as Josh was talking about, you know, the path of the stroke and not being perfect.
Right.
One of the things I gave myself was the yips. I know we're not supposed to use that word.
Yeah.
With that putter, simply because I would, without knowing it, I would close the face to square in the last 1 inch before getting to the ball.
Right.
I would be just slightly open and I would close the face down. And I would still make putts, but it got to the point where I couldn't pull that putter back. Yeah. It felt like it weighed 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So one of the things to look for, can I make a good smooth stroke? And again, counterbalance using weight is not a bad thing. One of the things I want to encourage you, if you're at a store, don't always just putt to a hole.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid, Oh, what do I putt to? Doesn't matter. Add another golf ball. First of all, I've actually talked to some people in some stores, and they're sloping towards the hole. There's a little tiny bit. It's, when you see the putt break left the first time into the hole, and the next time it breaks right into the hole because you were a little bit left of the hole. Funnel. It's like a funnel. Yeah. Also, where does everybody walk?
Exactly.
To the hole.
Yeah.
So, and what it gets caved in towards the hole.
Yeah.
So don't rely on, I'm making everything with this. This is wonderful.
Right.
Can I hit my line?
Yeah.
Really critical. Another thing that I would encourage you to do, move back, the longest putt you can have there.
Yeah.
Hit a putt and say you want it to go 25 feet if you have that much distance. Hit the next one 26 feet. Hit another one 24 feet. Can you control the distance with that putter? If you can't control the distance with that putter, how happy are you going to be with that putter? Again, are you going to be perfect? No, not unless you're on tour.
Yeah.
But most people never see, can I control distance?
Right.
But we would have people come into the shop all day long, grab a putter, rolling them into the hole, rolling them into the hole, rolling them into the hole. That's wonderful, as long as you're 8 feet away.
And that's why you hear so many people, I just got this new putter from such and such. I was making everything, draining everything. They go on the golf course, they don't make a lick. That putter never sees the light of day ever again. I can't tell you how many buddies of mine, they go and spend hundreds of dollars on these brand new bougie putters. Sorry, Scotty Cameron, I love you, but I'm not going to pay that much money for a putter. And I knew so many people who did that, and they play them once a year. And at that point, it's almost like a status thing. And don't get me wrong, their putters are amazing, but they don't really know. They don't have that ability to take it out on the golf course. You're telling me, and this is just a blatant example, a lot of the tour players, when they are, testing putters or whatever the case may be, they're doing it on actual greens. Not to mention they're doing it in practice facilities, multi-million-dollar practice facilities where they have level.
Not on a piece of carpet.
Not on it. Believe it or not, they have the assets to spend on a multi-million-dollar, or have access to facilities where they have even level mats, and not only that, but they have actually mats where you can adjust it to make it break a certain way. Ian Poulter, for example, his indoor, training facility in his garage is awesome. If you follow Ian Poulter on social media, he's got a really cool setup. But with that being said, the average golfer, the ones who actually need to find the right putter for them, because short game is everything. And if you don't make putts, you're not going.
You don't usually score low.
No, exactly. So once again, I knew so many people that would just, this looked really cool at such and such, and I was making everything, and it felt great. Perfect.
Yep.
I was that player too. Like I said, I'm not entirely against trying things every once in a while, but I'd love to just stick with something and work on that. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty stubborn about it. If I play bad with it, I kind of tell myself it's the user.
Yep.
But that's not always the case. So when I would test out putters this summer, I mean, we would go out on the golf course. We wouldn't go, on a piece of tile, or we would go on a carpet. And not to say I don't do that in my house, but still, that's what it is.
Yep. And the big thing to think about, the green you're putting on in the store, is that much faster than the greens that you're playing?
Yeah.
Is it much slower than the greens that you're playing? It usually isn't slower.
Right.
But that's something to, again, be thinking about. What will I do on slower, if my greens are slower than this and I'm coming up short of the hole.
Right.
Right. Can I get the ball to go always 12 inches past the hole? Can I aim it? All those things are critical. People generally worry more about what's the toe hang. So this putter, if you look at it, it's almost face balanced, even though it's not a center shafted putter, but the shaft comes down to the center almost. What does that mean? It means when I swing it, it wants to open slightly and close slightly.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to always make sure that this is in front of this after impact. If I do this, it is not going to the hole.
Right.
Now, I don't want to close it before impact because now I'm going to, but it needs to swing shut. Some putters, when I do this, will come down like this. That means it wants to open a lot and close a lot. What is my stroke like? Now, again, I'm swinging this at 4 or 5 miles an hour. I can overcome the physics of it and hold the face, keep the face.
Manipulate it, yeah.
But what am I going to do? I'm going to squeeze the living snot out of the grip to make sure it doesn't do that. Okay. What happens when I have all that tension in my body?
Right.
I'm not going to putt very well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel the head. I'm not going to do, so I need to relax, have my hands relaxed. But do I feel that club opening and closing slightly?
Right.
I would say probably 90% of the time when I would do a putter fitting, I see the heel leading the way.
Yeah.
And then, the golfer will make an adjustment. You come from outside and you come inside and you put a little cut spin, and you can watch the ball when it's, instead of rolling like this, it's rolling like this.
100%.
And what does that do? When I hit something, there's always something on the green to deflect the ball. It will deflect when it's going end over end. It's kind of like a 4-wheel drive. It will tend to go through that a little bit better, not kick it offline quite as much.
Right.
So that toe hang, I look more at, do I like the way it looks? The toe hang has never, because I could pull out 5 putters and they all hang different, and I can putt with all of them.
Right.
It's not the end all. Now, if I'm always missing everything right, having something that closes down a little bit more may be helpful.
Right.
But if I can't aim it,
right.
If I can't stand up to it and put it into the proper position, if I can't get my eyes over the ball, it don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not going to putt well with it.
Right.
The big thing, it's not the cost of the putter that makes the ball go in the hole.
Right. It doesn't know where the hole's at.
No. The putter I'm showing you, if you went to buy that, it's about a $650 putter. It's milled out of one piece of metal.
Yeah.
The putter that I was in the National Putting Championships, $19.95.
Right.
I putt well with both.
Right. My Cleveland putter, for example, I got that for just over $100.
Yep.
For a putter like that, it usually is $230 to $300 putter. Now that's also kind of talking about, that T-line putter, your national championship putter. I putt so good with that thing. And but it looked like something you'd find in a Goodwill bucket. I mean, you would go to the bins at Goodwill.
Well, maybe behind the bucket.
Maybe behind, maybe in the trash.
Right.
Right. But, that thing was money, and I was making a lot of putts with it. I really was. Any length, any kind of break, I was making putts with it. And, at that point, it really just made me question, okay, maybe I'm not such a bad putter after all. And when stuff like that happens, then that's when I start to tinker. And then that's when I start, go to the drawing board and be like, hey, I like this, I like that, and start paying attention to those things.
Yep.
And kind of, like I said, tinker with those things in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there isn't a perfect putter.
Right.
And you will, I think my best putting day ever was 21 putts. That's not bad.
Really good. Yeah.
But there's nothing perfect. But if I can't set up to it and I can't aim with it and the grip isn't feeling comfortable in my hands, it doesn't matter what else I do.
Right.
I'm not going to putt well with it. And as soon as I start making excuses and everything else, all I'm doing is saying, and I'm not going to make the next one.
Downward spiral.
Yep.
That's what that is.
And, putting is only 50% of the game. So it is kind of an important thing.
Only 50%.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people spend 50% of their practice time
hitting their driver.
Not hitting putts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drivers and wedges, that's something. And you know what? Yes, I love going on the range and I love smacking golf balls. Okay. I love hitting golf balls. I love going and hitting my driver on the range and seeing if I can outdrive, the range and hit it at the back. I love that. But, you talk about practicing with a purpose and fine tuning the things that actually matter, your putter.
Yep.
And short game in general, but especially your putter. Because you could duff every single chip. If you're going to 3 or 4 putt, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
But if you're duffing your chips every once in a while, or you hit a bad chip and, you have a 30-foot putt, the percentage of you making that are still there if you're a decent putter.
Right.
And, golf is all about, it's a numbers game.
Yep.
And playing to the numbers, the higher percentage shot. And, it's that portion of your practice is such a small amount of what people actually do put the time in.
Right.
And it amazes me how much of a difference it made for me. I told Gene before we recorded, I went and played 9 holes at Las Colinas, a week or so ago. And before going out, that's the first day I switched back to my Ping Anser. I did 50 4-foot putts with a mirror, and started doing some mirror work, whatever. I also had a metronome as well, and we'll talk about that on a later date. But and then the next 50 putts I hit were also 4 feet, and I did one hand, my right hand.
Yep.
I went out, and with that, it was probably an hour I spent on the putting green. I didn't hit any balls, didn't hit any chips, went straight to the tee. I made 3 putts over 35 feet. And it was all, I could feel where the club head was, where I was striking it. I knew where the golf ball was going, and it increased my confidence. You hear a lot of guys just walk straight up to the tee, say, screw it, whatever, let's go booze and cruise. Let's go have a good time. And you know what? By all means, go do that. But the people who actually want to get it done, and for myself, I actually want to get better, and I strive to be a better player. That is such a detrimental part of the game if you don't practice it.
Yep.
It can hurt you so much, and you could hit so many greens. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
You could have 45 putts, and you won't break 80.
Yep.
You won't.
No, that's today. Bill and I played. I hit 2 8-irons, 1 driver, and then spent 15 minutes on the putting green before we played.
Exactly. Look at the guys on tour.
Yep.
Most of their time is on the putting green. Now, that may be a common sense thing. Well, these guys are, they are. They do it because it's a big part of the game. Tiger Woods, one of the best putters of all time, not only under pressure, but just has one of the most consistent putting strokes ever.
Yep.
And, that guy got it done, I guess. He's only, one of the top golfers ever.
Tournaments?
I
Four
think
tournaments?
3.5.
Yeah, okay.
But, once again, that's just a big part of the game that I think everybody should really take advantage of while you have the time to do it and actually put the time in it. I know I started late on that and emphasizing that, and I regret it.
Yep. I spent a summer that way because I dislocated my shoulder.
Right.
But just one other real quick thing. I was watching the Golf Channel, and again, everybody gets caught up in what's the latest, greatest that my company has. I was watching the 2006 Open.
Yeah, this is good.
Okay, at St. Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
The leaders were playing McGregor's, Yonex, Nike, and the Nike One Ball, Ben Hogan, and Bridgestone's irons and drivers.
Yeah.
None of those exist today. No, but they're not golf companies. So again, when you're thinking these guys have been, this company is the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Chances are they're not going to be here in 5 years.
Yeah.
The golf industry is forever changing.
Look at Nike.
Yep.
They are one of the top club distributors for the longest time. Obviously, one of their biggest
McGregor.
sponsors. McGregor as well.
It was huge.
They go back in the 70s and 80s, and Yonex in the 90s.
Yeah.
And Bridgestone, you know, a little bit, you know, in the early 2000s, and even today, you know, Matt Kuchar was one of the only ones, and Freddie Couples for a time there he played Yonex as well.
Yep.
But still,
and Lynx,
and that's another brand.
Yep.
But really, when I saw that list, really made me question. You don't see TaylorMade. You don't see Titleist. You don't see Callaway. They were around, they existed, and they very much were a dominant force at that time. But regardless, it really does make you question what companies are going to come along and take over.
The big thing is it's not it's not a company that makes the best equipment, because if that was true, what would every player play?
Exactly.
That club. It's just, what's the fit?
Exactly.
Hope you enjoy the video part. You'll get to meet some really great young guys, and you'll get to hear them talking about their preferences, and you'll pick up hopefully on some of the stuff that you want to look for in a putter.
We'll see you in the next video.
God bless. Merry Christmas.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 21. And today we are out at Las Colinas, and we have a group of young guys, golfers that Josh is well familiar with, and he'll introduce in a few minutes. We're talking about putters. We haven't talked about putters. There's a lot of information about putters. A lot of the information is preference, but a lot of the information is stuff that you probably either don't know or haven't thought a whole lot about, and we're going to hopefully cover it. They're going to ask some questions. My phone's going to ring right here so you can tell that it's live, and it's a telemarketer, so I'm not going to answer it. But we're going to talk about putting and putters and just everything from grips to the heads to what do you want to look for when you're setting up to a putt. Josh, what do you have for us today?
So we got a few guys that Gene said I'm well familiar with, and we're going to start off with Cole.
Oh, hey guys, name's Cole Taylor here.
What kind of putter do you have?
Got a Odyssey, White Hot 3T, just standard grip, 34 inches, and you know I like the White Hot insert. It feels nice, but to be 100% honest, I don't really like this putter. It doesn't set up very well. A little bit too much toe hang for me. Need more of a face balance putter. But it gets the job done when I'm stroking it well, so I'll stick it out until we can go find an arm lock.
Beautiful. And next up, we got Riley Wortman. Riley, what kind of putter are you using?
I'm an O-Works Black 3T. I recently just switched this from a Scotty fork putter, basically the Phantom X, and it just feels like this one has a little bit more balance for me. And it's also 34 inches instead of 35. And so far, I'm working it, and it feels good.
Beautiful. Next up, we got Jack Sissons. How you doing, Jack?
Doing well. How about you?
What do we got going on here? A nice Newport.
So we got a Special Select, Special Select Newport 2. I put in some 40-gram weights in the bottom. 34 inches, standard grip. I usually like something with a bit of toe hang. I used to have a face balance putter, but I just couldn't get along with it. This has been working well recently. So.
Beautiful. Noah Bleichner. How we doing today, Noah?
Doing great.
Look at you. Nice little Dodgers hat going on. What do we have in your hand right there?
I recently switched to an Odyssey. It's the double wide. Just put on some lag tape recently. Just because I changed my grip too. So it's got a lot of changes recently, but I just love the feel of it. I like the top line. That's like essential for me. If I want to like look down, I want to see that top line so I can line it up with my ball better. And the insert is great. What can I say? It's just a good putter.
Beautiful. Lastly, we have Mr. Ken Wong.
Hello,
Ken,
it's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. What do we got in your hand? We got another white hot here. A lot of white hots around.
I currently play the Odyssey White Hot versus 7. I just switched to it. I used to have a Newport 2 blade putter, but what really drawed me to it was the red shaft, and you know, it's been very, very well. I like how it feels off the face with the insert. So
First question that we're going to try to tackle is the idea of a face insert. And the thing is, again, the fact that it has a face insert doesn't make it a good putter or a bad putter. It becomes a preference thing. I am one who hates
face inserts because I don't like the fact that I can't hear the ball as well coming off the face. I judge speed a lot by the sound that it makes. I also want to feel, where did I strike the ball? Sometimes the face insert is put there to lighten the putter, depending on how thick the face insert is. Back in the day, there was a putter company, STX. They had some of the softest faces on the market. It felt like the ball stuck to the face when you hit the putt. And then they had other faces, different durometers that were a lot firmer. With a face insert, you're able to put some texture. If the company is designing something with texture, trying to grab into the dimples of the golf ball to get the ball rolling. A lot of times when you have a putter, here's my old putter from the National Putting Championships. You don't see any marking on it except for when I got mad and maybe hit a rock. But the ball will skid. If I'm on a wet green in the morning and I hit a putt, you can see where the ball was skidding. Putter that I use a lot today, this Chronicles, you can see some milling on the face. And again, that helps to get the ball to roll. So one of the things that we're looking for is in the area of face milling or face inserts is preference. You know, all these guys, except for the Scotty, have some kind of a milled or some kind of a face insert. And they were talking about how they like the feel of that. Growing up for me, I hated the feel of a face insert. But then again, I used this standard 431 steel putter from probably 1970 through today. So I'm used to that feel. I'm used to that sound, and that's what I'm looking for. Looking at their putters again real quickly, you see a lot of different color. You see black and white in this case, but the fact that the color of the putter can make a difference in my ability to line up. Most of them have one line. In fact, all of them have one line. Some of their lines are on the top. Some of their lines are on the bottom. If you look at my putters, that's one of my putters. That's my 1981 putter. This was my clay long putter. Has multiple lines. My Chronicles putter has one line. I don't like something with a lot of lines because a lot of lines just cause me to look too much at the lines and I forget about the putt. There was a putter that I once was offered where if I set the putter down, the lines on the top and the lines on the bottom would line up. That drove me nuts because I would stand there and try to work so hard to get the lines to line up, I'd forget about what I was doing with the putter. And by the time it got ready to hit the putt, I was probably no longer aimed at the hole because I was too worried about setting the putter down correctly. So all that being said, becomes a preference, but it's understanding why they're there. Originally, a lot of the inserts came out because the guys on tour are playing on greens that are like fuzzy cement. They're running at a 12, 13, 14, and that deadened the blow. Originally, this putter head weighs 305 grams. I'm sure those weighed in the 340s, 360s, 370s. And it became, because they started building putters a little shorter. We were talking off camera. We have a couple of 34-inch putters and a 35-inch putter. Well, in the day, everything was 35 or 36 inches. And a lot of you might be still using one of those. Well, that can cause me to get out of position when I'm putting. I can't get my eyes over the ball, or I got the toe up in the air. All kinds of issues that I can run into with putters as far as the length of the putter. But as far as the milling is not something I'm going to worry about as much because most putters today have some kind of milling, and that is a good thing. It helps get the ball rolling. But again, I'm not going to get rid of my nice T-line number 3 putter that I think I paid $19 for in 1975. So this was state of the art at that time.
So I guess another question I have for you guys is preference-wise. So let's go through preferences on what you like to see in your putting. When you're putting really good, what do you like to see down at the putter?
Down at the putter, I just want to feel like and look like I'm comfortable with the putter, especially and the black color I really like a lot. When I went with my Scotty, it was like a silver gray, and the shine off of my glasses really affected me, and I just didn't like that.
So when you want to buy a putter, if you were going to buy a new putter, the color scheme that you like is typically black.
It would be black, yes.
Okay. And Jax, what about yourself?
For me, it's more of a minimalistic design, something that I can look at and not be distracted. Also, something that has like more weight in the head gives me confidence when I'm putting.
Beautiful. Cole, how about yourself?
For me, I like to have like a lot of different colors. So like, you know, this putter, it's got the red shaft and like a little bit of silver down here.
So do you like the multicolor shaft? I feel like with some people that would actually, hinder their visual down at the putter.
No, I'm kind of like Ken. Like that's what kind of drew me to this putter, and like the Stroke Lab shaft. Obviously, it's a nice shaft. And I just like the different colors on the head, and like they're not glossy. It's matte, so there's no reflection off the sun into my eyes.
Sure.
Especially in Arizona on the really warm, sunny days. I just want to be able to look down and like have minimal distractions while I'm putting.
Beautiful. And Noah, how about yourself?
I just like the black and white contrast with the green, so I definitely can see my club face. I also want to see when I look down, I want to see my club face because it's white. The insert helps me feel comfortable lining it up. And also, like I said before, the top line is essential for me to putt well.
So would you like, my question to you, would you like something, because I know they have putters with the triple track lines. Would you like something like that? I know some people do, some people don't. What's your opinion on that?
Personally, I've not tried it on the golf course, but I feel like it would be down for that. It's just too much line. It could be like we all already mentioned that it could be, we couldn't focus on the line anymore and on the distance for the putt.
Beautiful. And Ken, I see you got the same exact thing going on.
What really drew me to this particular putter was the red shaft, color contrast, kind of like what Cole was saying. I also really liked the stripe down. I also liked how the stripe was white, insert all was white as well compared with the red. When I looked down on the ball, just made me feel more confident. I like something that's probably more loud, more colorful. So that's why I like to look for it, especially with clubs. But yeah, it's been a good putter ever since. So.
Beautiful. And for myself, I have something pretty basic. Now, I haven't been able to show my putter on screen, but I have a Ping Anser here, and it's also a black and red. As a matter of fact, it is all black, and that's something I'm pretty fond of. Even the grip itself is all blacked out, and that's just something that I like as a preference. I like, a black or even a darker color blue. I was telling Gene off camera, even a Mizuno blue is something that I like to see in a putter. Not so much a metallic. I actually do like a polished finish. But I do agree in the Arizona sun, when it's brutal outside and really sunny, it's not typically wise for me to have something like that because it will blind me, even though I'm blind as it is. But typically when it goes to putters and I want to buy a new one, the design factor of it is primarily going to be the same.